Welcome to another edition of NetStruc Talks. It's your host, Sharon Lead, publicity strategist. And NetStruc Talks is an informative show that provides valuable information for consumers and entrepreneurs on a personal and professional growth. My motto is tell us something that we don't know that will help us be a better person and a better business owner. Each show, I have an amazing guest that not only wowed me with their story, but also accomplished so much in their career. And today, my guest has the superpower to help entrepreneurs unlock the power of networking and also with LinkedIn. Stay tuned. Welcome. It is your host, Sharon Lead, and I have my boy, Rob YB Youngblood here. Rob, we've known each other for quite some time. I think we've seen each other maybe once or twice, maybe at the Power Network conference, but we are Facebook buddies. I'm not Facebook, LinkedIn buddies. And we have been doing just some really great networking throughout the years. So I'm really excited to have you on my show today. Welcome.
Peace and blessings, Sharon. I am excited to be here. And, our relationship went to another level when you entered the LinkedIn recommendation challenge a few years ago. So we're joined at the hip now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was fun. I met some really great people in there, and I really understood how some of the LinkedIn ins and outs and tips and things like that worked out. But it was definitely an eye opener, but it was definitely fun, especially when I won one of those prizes.
And not only did you win the prize, you blazed the cohort because of your activity and the actual impact that activity had. I don't know if you want me to share it, but you made a believer out of a ton of people as a result of you becoming more active on the LinkedIn platform, and you helped me raise my level of belief in terms of my ability to impact and empower business leaders, business owners like yourself. Which is why I'm going to another level as a result of the results that you got through that particular cohort.
Listen, we have to help each other. We got to empower and level up each other. So I appreciate you having that platform, and for me to really take it and utilize it. And to this day, we're still utilizing it. So welcome to the show. I know last we spoke, when we were behind the scenes, you a lot of stuff has happened. And, I know you as the LinkedIn creator, right? Like you can literally tell people how to work their LinkedIn page and what they need to do and so forth like that. But you have a new venture, a new journey, a new page in a book, so speaking. You're a new author as well. So it's the collaboration creates currency movement.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's a lot when you guys hear it, but I know YB and I know what that means. And, there's different levels to that: networking, connections, bringing people together, empowering them. Talk to us a little bit about this movement and what is it that you're looking to do with this movement? You said some big numbers when we were off stage. So talk to us a little bit about this.
So the Collaboration Creates Currency movement is actually built on my second book, Collaboration Creates Currency, the blueprint for visibility, credibility, and profitability. And that was initiated because of my journey in pursuing the #1 motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas, affectionately known as E.T., the hip hop preacher.
I love E.T. Yeah. Shout out to E.T.
Shout out to E. One of my mentors and coaches. And so in 2015, I actually dealt with a mental health crisis. I was on the verge of taking my life due to just pressure that I was dealing with. And as a result of overcoming that, pursuing therapeutic help, going on YouTube to look for motivation, I found E.T. I didn't even know he existed at that time. But I found ET, I dug into his content, and I came upon one of the contents that he had called GED to PhD, which explained his journey from being homeless, living in abandoned buildings, eating out of trash cans, dropping out of high school, to becoming the number one motivational speaker in the world. And so his journey, his trials, his tribulations, his adversity empowered me to level up. I eventually got into his community. I began to build relationships. And the lesson that I learned from E was that the way he was able to become successful was based on two things. One was his relationship with the creator, and two were the collaborations that he built that helped him to get from where he was to where he is. And so I recognize that as being an opportunity to empower the world with a message on how to break the cycle of poverty and build wealth one connection at a time. So the Collaboration Creates Currency movement is focused on breaking the cycle of poverty and building wealth one connection at a time, leveraging experiences of individuals like Eric Thomas, as well as others who have been able to do the same thing. And so that's what the focus of the movement is on. And so, as you mentioned, we do have some big numbers. This year, the goal is to impact 100,000 lives through the movement. And there's multiple ways that we're going to do that.
100, say the number again.
100,000 lives will be impacted
Wow.
by the Collaboration Creates Currency movement this year, 2024.
And I know you can do it because, I'm going to go back to, how we initially met, which was LinkedIn. Approximately how many people on LinkedIn use LinkedIn?
Yeah, so they just hit a milestone. They just hit 1 billion members. LinkedIn has been around since the early 2000s. I actually got on in 2007, and I just reached a milestone recently, 11,000 followers. And so it does happen fast. And I'm not looking to do this by myself. I am leveraging my network. I just recently created the Collaboration Creates Currency coaching community, where I'm empowering business leaders, entrepreneurs, authors, speakers to enhance their clarity, their confidence, and their currency, so that they can increase impact, influence, and income. And so, that this happens through individuals. It's not a YB. It's not just YB. It's a connection thing. It's a collaborative thing, and it's an opportunity for us to impact lives together.
You say that it's not a YB thing. It's not just, it's not just you. It's a network. Let's go into networking, the power of networking. You can't do this without networking. Like, you can't have the collaboration without having a network and going out there and networking. Explain to our listening audience, what is your process in networking and your level of power networking?
So first thing we have to understand is that networking is not about what you get. It's about what you give. And so you mentioned the Power Networking Conference, Dr. George C. Frazier. He's one of my mentors. I actually told him, I said, my desire is to be this generation's George Frazier, where I help individuals understand how to network effectively. There are people who think networking is fake. Right. Meaning that it's all about what you can get. It's all about the individual. And frankly, there are people that's what they do. But true networkers understand that networking is not about what you get, it's what you give. Yep. And what's the first thing that you give? You give yourself. And so I leverage a framework that I created called the MMD framework. The MMD framework is based on an acronym: mindset, methodology, and discipline. So in order to be effective in networking, the first thing we have to do is to develop the mindset and understanding the importance of what is it that you have to offer the world? What is your gift? What are your goals? And what are your gaps? And when you understand that and you approach an individual to have a conversation, the first thing we should do is to identify their 3 Gs. What are their gifts? What are their gaps? What are their goals? And so when we understand that, now the process of networking can begin, because then I can identify, how can I add value to this person? How can I connect them to people who can benefit from their gift? How can I connect them to people who can fill their gaps? And how can I then be a catalyst in helping them reach their goals. And so when we understand that, then we can begin to collaborate in such a way that currency is created. And when I talk about currency, I'm not just talking about money. Money is actually low-hanging fruit. It's actually the easiest thing we can get. When I talk about currency, I'm talking about relationships, trust, ideas, information, spirit, things that take time to build, that's of value, that you can lose in an instant. And so when we talk about networking, we're talking about leveraging that mindset and having a methodology, which in my case is leveraging LinkedIn to make those connections, and then having the discipline to show up and show out consistently.
So, and I love this, that you have these acronyms, MMD, which is mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Mindset, motivation, methodology.
Methodology, right? It's the way by which you go about doing what you need to do. In this case, it's networking. So there's a strategy, there's a system in place that I teach. And then the discipline, meaning to take the mindset and the methodology and show up every single day. Be consistent in your ability to develop yourself first and foremost, and then implement the methodology that you learn, whether it's in networking or in collaborating or in building a business or even in public relations, being able to show up consistently, but having that discipline to do it, because it's over time that these skills will develop and these relationships will develop.
So it's so important that you say that, in terms of what consistency is so important in everything that what we do. In terms of networking, a lot of people don't want to be consistent because they do, one, they're probably doing it wrong. Two, they're going in there with this big expectation that they're going to walk out with a bunch of business.
Right.
And so when they walk in there, and then they're, because I get a lot of clients that come to me, and I'm like, listen, part of our PR strategy is networking. We're going to networking events. And they're like, no. And I'm like, yes, part of it is networking. And, they just have the horror stories. And, one thing, you have to keep going. If I go to a networking event, I make sure I get at least one thing out of it.
Yeah.
I make a connection, whether it's for me or if it's for someone that I know can benefit from that person. And when you walk into the room like that, with that mindset of what you're saying, with that methodology, what you're saying, your discipline kicks in, because it's not you.
Yeah.
I'm not coming in here for me. Yeah. I'm coming in here for who I can build with, to do a collaboration.
Right.
How is it my skills? So with your collaboration, with your movement, networking, from what I'm hearing, is a big component of this.
It's a major component. So networking is a skill, no different than driving a car, no different than flying a plane, no different than tap dancing or stepping. I'm a member of the greatest fraternity in the world, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. So those are skills. And so one of the things that I tell people, especially my introverts, and sometimes I step on toes with this, right? Being an introvert has nothing to do with networking. You often hear people say, well, I'm not good at networking because I'm an introvert. That has nothing to do with it. Being an introvert means you get your power from being by yourself, right? So you could sit and read a book and generate energy from being in solitude. But that has nothing to do with networking. Networking is a skill. So the first part of networking is having clarity. Right? When you have clarity and you understand who you are and what you do and why you do what you do, what your gifts, gaps, and goals are, then you can show up with authority and have conversations with people, right? It has nothing to do with being an introvert. So once you have clarity, then that leads to a greater confidence, and it impacts your ability to communicate. And a big part of communication is asking good questions. What's the best thing that introverts love to do? They love to listen. So if you show up to a networking event and you have questions and you just let people talk and you do what you do best in listening, you'll actually show up as a phenomenal networker, because people will walk away feeling like, man, Sharon just really listens. Rob knows how to listen. See, the opposite is an extrovert, Sharon. I'm originally from the Bronx, New York, right? So I love to talk. I'm an extrovert, right?
Me
I,
too.
and I'm a recovering people pleaser. I mean, I used to cut people off when they speak.
Mm,
You want to destroy an opportunity to network? You want to destroy a collaboration opportunity? Have a conversation with someone and they start talking, you cut them off consistently.
consistently. Yeah, I know.
Maybe once or twice, but I'm talking about consistently to the point where the person in their mind is like, yeah, this person's a jerk. I can't even get a word in because they want to do all of the talking. So networking is a skill. So I show up in the marketplace to teach business leaders, entrepreneurs, young professionals, college students how to network effectively. Why? Because that's the best way to produce currency, right?
Right.
And you know, in the PR space, we understand it's not about what you know or who you know, it's who knows you. And so if something comes up and your name is mentioned behind closed doors, right? And they say your name and the other people like, they don't have to say nothing. They just, no, we not, no. Well, why would you say that? Because we can't get a word in. Every time this brother come in and speak, we can't even. So now your brand
Mhm.
is tarnished because you lack the skill that's
Right.
required to create currency through collaboration.
Right. So, with your movement, I know networking is a big part of it. Are you incorporating the use of LinkedIn as
Yes,
well?
yes, I am. And so I'm still the LinkedIn locksmith, right? I'm still the LinkedIn locksmith. I still unlock the power of LinkedIn for individuals who want to use LinkedIn as a public relations tool, because that's exactly what it is, right? You know, people see LinkedIn as what it was started as, which was a platform to help job seekers connect to
Job
recruiters, right?
seekers.
And it's still doing that, right? It's still
Right.
doing that. But it has evolved into a marketplace where people have become thought leaders, where people are able to now offer their service and skills to corporations who have gaps. And they may not have an internal mechanism to fill that gap. So they bring outsiders, experts, subject matter experts in. Well, how can you be found if you don't use a tool that will help you to network effectively with people in different disciplines and different verticals? And so now people are starting to see the value of being on LinkedIn, but the challenge is, how do I communicate? How do I show up? How do I become a magnet? How do I create or attract new clients? And that's where the collaboration creates currency movement comes in to help individuals to develop those skill sets.
It's important. I'm a professor at John Jay, and
Mm.
my students, I teach social entrepreneurship. So, one of the things that I tell my students, I was like, okay, everybody let me know who has a LinkedIn page.
Mhm.
And a lot of them, say to themselves, they say, well, I have one because I'm looking for a job, but I don't use it.
Right,
And I said, well, listen, you have this class for a specific reason, because you are looking to start your own business.
right.
LinkedIn is not only for job seekers anymore. LinkedIn is now has evolved to entrepreneurship. But
Mhm.
not only that, and obviously I tell them, if you don't have one, I literally have a class where, like, you're going to set up a LinkedIn account for this.
Nice,
But
nice.
the next thing is that, what I tell clients as well, said, listen, you have to have an online footprint. And one of the online footprint besides your website is
Mhm.
LinkedIn, because I call LinkedIn the business money page.
Come on.
I've gotten clients from LinkedIn. I've gotten contracts from LinkedIn. Prime example, when I was in your cohort. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, this is something where what you and again, the LinkedIn locksmith, that's something where you literally are showing people on different levels power of networking,
Mhm.
utilizing LinkedIn to attract clients, and just really the art of collaboration. Like, this movement, what you have literally was you in different places, and now you literally just brought it all together.
Brought it all together. But see, I had to learn. So I had to go through a tremendous amount of personal growth, increase my belief, increase my understanding of actually what I had on the inside. You see, many of us are dope. Like we are phenomenal. But if we don't see it, see, other people can see it, but if we don't see it, then we do a world of disservice because we're not able to shine the light that's been put on the inside of us. You know, I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience. So I understand that my creator created me for a purpose. And my fear that helps me to stay disciplined is that I would get to the creator, have a conversation, and he says to me, why didn't you do what I told you to do?
Right.
And so now I mentioned something. I'm a recovering people pleaser, right? I'm no longer focused on people pleasing. I'm more demanding, first of myself and then of others. I have no problems with being direct anymore. And so what this has helped me to do is to garner the attention, to attract individuals in a different way. And now I'm speaking a different language. My tone is different. And so,
Mhm.
so the movement is helping to give people that clarity so they can have more confidence, which allows them to communicate differently. And then when they communicate differently, they will attract new connections. Those connections lead to collaboration opportunities, and those collaboration opportunities lead to currency. And I call that the road to currency. And so it's important that people understand this. And really, it doesn't matter what you are doing in your profession. You may not even be an entrepreneur, but you are still a brand as an individual. And once
Right.
we understand that we're a brand, then we can show up to the marketplace, and that brand can then impact the lives of others, therefore turning into currency, whether money or relationships or ideas or resources.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. How can people join the movement, or how are you getting it out there for people to learn about it and become part of the movement?
Yeah, so the first way is I love LinkedIn. Everything I'm doing now is on LinkedIn, so folks can find the movement on LinkedIn. They can follow the Collaboration Creates Currency movement, and yes, it is a lot of words, but it has a ring to it. So they can follow the Collaboration Creates Currency movement. They just go on LinkedIn, type in the Collaboration Creates Currency movement, and follow that. They can also connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can build from there. But the first way folks can join the movement is to purchase their copy of the book Collaboration Creates Currency, the blueprint for visibility, credibility, and profitability. And they can find that on the Collaboration Creates Currency website. And it's through that book that they'll learn from myself and four other dynamic co-authors: Marshall Fox, Deborah Delgado, Sherrod Ledet, S. Elliott Brooks III, individuals who are also part of the of the LinkedIn recommendation challenge. You may have remembered them, but each of us tell our story of how collaboration creates currency for us. And Marshall Fox is in that book. He was a struggling insurance salesman when we met in the Breathe University community, which is Eric Thomas's community. His wife encouraged him to follow his gift of graphic design. He was awesome with graphic design. I became his very first client. He did my logo for me. This was back in 2016. I then put my gift on top of his gift. I shared the logo he created for me with my network, and in 90 days, Sharon, he attracted 40 new clients.
Mm,
So when we talk about collaboration creates currency, and when I talk about this 100,000 lives being impacted, it doesn't have to take a long time. You feel what I'm saying? It's just a matter
right.
of you connecting with the right person with the right gift, understanding where you're striving to go, and boom, you got people that are talking about you because they see the value of the gift that you bring to the marketplace. And so that book explains that and breaks down, the blueprint for visibility, credibility, and profitability.
I love it. I love it, YB. Like, I love having conversations with you. You have so much energy that just is, it just jumps out. And it's like, I want to go and help 100,000 people too.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but, for those of you who are interested and want to learn more about this movement, you could definitely find YB on his LinkedIn page. That's his LinkedIn link there. It would be in the comment box as well. Make
Mhm.
sure you connect with him. Make sure that you also look for the Collaboration Creates Currency movement on LinkedIn as well. We're not going to any other social media platforms because he is still the locksmith LinkedIn expert. So we don't want to get off that. But LinkedIn is a very, very big part of YB's career and his life. And, he's helped people like me, learning more about LinkedIn. But this new movement of what he has going on, including his book, is something that I think a lot of, especially new entrepreneurs. So we
Yes.
still have a lot of new entrepreneurs through the COVID time when people started their own business and they
Yeah.
started it out of an urgency because either they lost their job, they didn't want to go out, it was an unsure time for people. So I
Mm.
think this is a really great opportunity for those that started your business during COVID, still moving it, but it's dormant, or you're not really getting to where you need to get to. This would
Mm.
be a great opportunity for you to learn the ins and outs about being a really true entrepreneur, because a true entrepreneur does networking. A true
Definitely.
entrepreneur does collaborations and connections and empowers each other, because you can't get high by yourself. You can't get to that success level by yourself. You can, but it will take a very long time. So
Yeah.
collaboration is key in this. So I want to thank you, YB, for, creating this movement, sticking to what your beliefs are, and definitely staying the focus, staying on the same route that you have when I first initially met you years ago,
Mm.
and you still have it. It's just in abundance now.
Yeah, belief grows as you do the work, right? I have a mentor, and he says, if you ever hear somebody say, "I believe in you," or that you have a lot of potential, you need to run,
Mm,
because having belief in someone, but knowing that they're going to do it is two different things. And so
mhm.
we could believe that we're going to do something, but faith without works is dead.
Absolutely.
And so we have to put in the work, and I appreciate you. I gotta say it. I gotta say it in front of everybody. You're my mentor, right?
Thank you.
I'm finally out of the closet with the fact that I'm in the PR space, and so you helped me with that, especially when you did your 7-day challenge. It was phenomenal. The lessons that I learned from that really inspired me, and I know where I fit in the scope of PR, right? And so connecting with folks like yourself, my other mentor, Dr. Pam Perry, being able to leverage your wisdom to impact people from my perspective, but having the connections to be able to refer folks that maybe I'm not able to work with, I can refer them to you and
Yeah.
or to Dr. Pam Perry. So I want to say thank you for, one, helping to pour gas on my belief. When you came on and you gave your testimony, right? It was you, it was Pierre Quinn, it was like when
Mhm.
y'all came in and y'all gave your testimony because of the work. Remember, faith without works is dead. So when
Yeah.
you put the work in, you got the reward and the award. Literally, y'all got an award. Y'all got some, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got a little, I ain't gonna say what the award is. Y'all got a little something.
I'll say we got a little
You
cash.
got a
Like,
little
listen.
cash. I got a little cash. Because I wanted y'all to understand, when you do the work, you're gonna get paid.
Yeah,
You're gonna get
absolutely.
paid. You're gonna get paid. And so I just appreciate you for the opportunity to be on your platform, and the best is yet to come. And for those of you who are watching, Sharon, listen, rock with her. She knows her stuff. She's awesome.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. But I also, you mentioned a couple of people that, as my mentors also, Dr. Pam Perry, listen, she is the OG
OG,
publicist.
OG.
Like, you talking 30 years 30 years plus in the game. Like,
Yep.
that is my mentor. She is my go-to. I love Dr. Pam Perry and Dr. George Frazier, the king networker.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that, again, mentorship, collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
coaching. This is what this movement is about, YB. And I really appreciate you taking the time to, to be on my show, to really talk about this importance, because not only do you don't have to be a entrepreneur to be part of this. You
Mm-hmm.
can just be somebody who's in your career or just stuck. And again, this is something that helps everyone. on a
Mhm.
personal and professional level. So thank you again, YB. I really appreciate it. You guys, please follow YB on LinkedIn. I expect to hear him say, Sharon, a crap load of people just jumped on my IG, just sent me messages and wanted to connect with me because of the show. But this is definitely needed. So I appreciate your time. Any last words before we jump off?
Yes. So I would say that when you do reach out to me on LinkedIn, make sure you send a personalized note. Right? Send a personalized note. Let me know that you heard me on Sharon's show. And that way I can go back and say, hey, these folks, like you said, I got a boatload of people that just hit me up. But the only way I'll know is if you send a personalized note. And if you struggle with that, if you're not sure how to do that, then the LinkedIn locksmith can help you with that. But I definitely look forward to empower, inspire, and impacting you. You'll be a part of that 100,000 lives. So if this inspired you at all, make sure you follow the collaboration creates currency movement on LinkedIn. Let me know so we can add you to that 100,000 people that were impacted this year.
I appreciate it, YB. Thank you so much. Definitely want to get you back on the show to talk about how your journey is going. I know you're also doing some book tours, so
Yep.
make sure that you send me that. I could put that in the comment box as well. So you guys follow YB. Make sure you join the movement. I am going to be part of that movement as well, because you cannot be a successful entrepreneur without constantly pouring into yourself and others. Thanks again, and I'll see you at the next NetStruc Talks.